Hello, what is up everyone? This is Dosa Boy. वापस कंटिन्यू कर रहे हैं डिस्को एलिजियम. All right, भाई साहब कित्सुरागी. What do you have?
What is this place? Yes, but no one's been here in ages. I doubt the electricity still works. Good thing we have a flashlight on us. Don't forget to take it out of your bag before we move on.
Some specks of dust shimmer in a faint beam of daylight falling from the window. Other than that, the room is dark. An eerie feeling rises in your chest.
Yes, because it's closed. No need to look for supernatural explanations where a banal one will do. Now let's move on, shall we?
A barbell lies on the floor. The color has worn off its weight plates. It's 60 kilograms. Your triceps hum at the sight of these weights. Show the world what kind of beast it's dealing with. Lift them. There are no collars on the barbell. This is a safety hazard.
You're right. The weight may fall off. Better not touch it then. It would be a violation of EPIS safety regulations if the gym was still operating, but it isn't. No one's supposed to come here anymore.
Conjuring up an inhuman amount of strength, you raise the barbell up in the air. Your biceps tremble, but you're a savage.
भाई साहब.
A warm wave of accomplishment washes over your head as you drop the barbell to the floor. For a moment, it feels like you're strong enough to succeed at anything you ever set your mind to.
Good technique.
Window panes and debris. Large damage on stuffed and mounted.
Your flashlight slides over an old green chalkboard covered in scribbles, sketches, and schemes like some ancient cave mural. Some of the writing has faded with age, but you can still make out sections here and there. Photos and drawings have been pinned to the board. These lithe, pointy-eared creatures appear to be different types of welkins. You make out autumnal candle welkins casting wax-based magic. Translucent welkins with organs shining under their skin, and even ether welkins hailing from the vast emptiness of sidereal space. You should adopt one of those welkins as your persona. No longer a mere man, but a welkin. One of the welkins, towering among the rest, appears to be different, however.
अच्छा मतलब नॉवेल पढ़ी जा रही है काइंड ऑफ
It's Vara Hamira, a high welkin, his face white and scarred like cracked marble. This is clearly a welkin supremacist. The note says, all non-welkin races will be purged. The Haldor, the Twarg, the humans, and even headless men, all of them, purged. Imagine a world filled only with welkin, green welkin, dread welkin, and the high welkin, to rule them all.
हेलो डेक्स्टर भाई
An inordinate amount of time has gone into drawing these little welkin creatures. Political commentary. That one has a great beard too. Just look at those details. So much effort.
CID is greater than COD. ये ACP प्रद्युमन ही तो है
The
इसको
photo
भारी
collage depicts barren,
ड्रग
icy
एडिक्शन भी है साथ में
landscapes wrapped in perpetual night. You see permafrost and glacial landforms, dead trees grown in under the snow. Entire oceans have been frozen from shore to shore. There are pictures of
Case
settlements
solve
on dried
करना
up riverbeds, abandoned in a storm.
Low
Animal
hacking,
corpses in the dark, carcasses and bones. You see primitive oil rigs built into glaciers, boreal dvorg, yurts under the
वॉइस
snow,
एक्टिंग तो हार्ड है
lake
नॉट गोना लाई
mammoth-like beasts of
अच्छा
burden.
फन पार्ट इज वॉइस एक्टिंग का ये देख रहे हैं इंसाइक्लोपीडिया और यहाँ से ये पूरी नरेशन आ रही है ये इसके अलग अलग इमोशंस हैं अलग अलग इमोशंस पे इसने कितना पॉइंट डाला है उस हिसाब से ये इमोशन इससे टॉक बैक कर रहे हैं फॉर एग्जांपल फिलहाल मेरा इंसाइक्लोपीडिया और हर ये इमोशन की एक अलग वॉइस एक्टिंग है प्राइमरी ये 4 तो ये चारों का एक अपना वॉइस भी है आई थिंक ये इन सब के लिए भी शायद सेपरेट वॉइस एक्टर्स है बट लेट्स सी बोरियल ड्वेरोर mammoth like beast
Albeit dark and cold, this vision also feels cozy in its own way, like eggnog or morphine, a much needed respite from our own world. A pinned postcard reads, "The heat death scenario, a desperate fight for geothermal energy engulfs the world as Wirral becomes untethered from its sun, drifting through the universe."
अभी तक स्टोरी का रिकैप क्या है? एक पेड़ पे एक लाश लटकी है भाई 1 हफ्ते से और कोई उसको निकाल नहीं रहा है। और पता नहीं क्या कोई सिक जोक है जो मेरे को और मेरे ये पार्टनर डिटेक्टिव कित्सुरागी को, ये बंदा, हम दोनों को इस केस पे भेजा है। जिस तरीके से आजू बाजू पुलिस स्टेशन और लोगों के बीच बातें चल रही है, ऐसा लगता है मर्डर का कोई रिलेवेंस है नहीं, क्योंकि जो होना है सो होना है। एक स्ट्राइक चल रहा है बहुत खतरनाक, डॉक वर्कर्स और उस डॉक के उधर के ओनर के बीच, उनको पेमेंट नहीं दे रहे वगैरह वगैरह। उस आड़ में एक मर्डर भी हुआ है। पता चला मर्डर को मैंने इंस्पेक्ट करा तो 8 लोग थे जिनने वो मर्डर करा है। इनफैक्ट जो लाश लटकी है पेड़ पे, कोई फक से नहीं देता उस लाश को, बोले भाड़ में जाए, मेरे पास और भी ज़रूरी काम है। इस एरिया की मतलब मेंटली पूरी माँ चौधी पड़ी है। फिर अपना कैरेक्टर जो एक नशेड़ी है, ये खुद के नशे के साथ भी कोप करने की कोशिश कर रहा है, एट द सेम टाइम ये केस को भी सॉल्व करने की कोशिश कर रहा है। देखते हैं ये गेम कहाँ लेके जाता है अपन को आगे।
This is a monthly calendar from the year 50. Cryptic words like sprint, daily minimi, and GPI span the marker-drawn grid, the grand scheme of production and money.
ये तो एवरेज दिन यूपी जैसा लग रहा है, pretty much.
It looks a bit like an academic calendar, only much more brutal. Minimi stands for a mini meeting. It's part of a bigger framework for managing work called RUN. Station 41 tried to implement it a few years ago, but failed. As time goes on, the numbers in the boxes grow rarer and rarer. The board becomes an empty snowfield in the final days. Only failure and regret dwell in this region.
Looks like they didn't make it.
A note in the bottom left corner of the chalkboard says, "See the prod schedule filament for details." The handwriting is only partly legible, but you can still make out 3 slogans: "Call in, tune out," "Wirral untethered," and "Heat death of the universe." The full text reads, "Heat death of the universe is the new black." Another note says, "The biggest advancement in role-playing systems since the 30s."
साला D&D प्लेयर की ट्रिप काट रहा हूँ मैं।
This appears to be some kind of machine with a cube-shaped heart and a wired framework. The keyboard has a rectangular on-off button. A piece of paper still hangs from the printer.
A radio computer. Just sitting here without anyone inside.
What he means is that these things cost money. Why would anyone just leave it behind? This is the Ream Civic radio computer, model RC5120, equipped with a Feld mainframe and a Ream-compatible printer. The machine lights up like some prehistoric animal stirring from its slumber, revealing fluorescent play and print keys on the keyboard. The hatch on the machine's central compartment is wide open. It's empty like a beehive without its brood. Some cables have been left dangling, disconnected.
This is where the memory should go.
Nothing happens. Something's missing. There's no tape in the player. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. Something's missing. There's no tape in the player. This old fireplace is covered in lines drawn in blue and red marker, the mesh spreading over the stone like blood vessels on alabaster skin. It looks ghostly and strangely ancient. The whole thing resembles Kadran mosaic tiles. Very pedantic. History classes, students with their textbooks open, studying the roots of our civilization. Those aquarelle blue tiles looked beautiful in the sun. Radio frequencies, it seems. UKV 123.6, UKV 123.7, UKV 123.9. Some written notes, too. Sparse and cryptic. Unclear. It looks like a cardiovascular system split into veins and capillaries. Very advanced. Perhaps the web is comprised of radio stations, all lead back to one red heart, titled the Game Master Frequency. A note says, this one can listen in on any station it wants. They must have had massive air width. These things don't come cheap. Someone very important. A conductor for the hundreds of story threads that pass through the Game Master's frequency. Whoever decides to call in to a call-in station, it looks like.
यहाँ से
A list of
फोन आया था.
names under the stations suggests people across 6 Isolas would be playing. Muindi, Insulinda, Kotla, Grad, Samara, and even Ilmara. There's no way a little basement studio working here could pull anything like this off.
My God. It's as if the less money they had, the more ambitious their project became. Exactly. This schedule, I know doom when I see it. The company was running out of funding.
Nothing. It's just lines on marble. An echo from times long gone. No one has used the fireplace in ages.
Okay. What do you think is going on with that computer, chalkboard, and fireplace? No, that's not it. I think...
Like he's ready to lay out a fine theory, crafted together like a puzzle box.
it looks like one of those popular pen and paper role-playing games. Only these people were trying to automate it, make it work on radio computers. No idea. They stopped filling out the schedule on the chalkboard. None of the players have to be physically present. Anyone in the world can participate in the game, as long as they have a two-way radio. Then there's the game master
ACP
frequency
Pradyuman
that
ki heavy
listens
need.
in on the smaller call-in stations. I think that was supposed to coordinate the stories, functioning as a master of ceremonies of sorts.
His fascination has swept aside other concerns for the moment. He's a little hooked. Coordinating so many games would take a whole switchboard of people, possibly divided into sub-frequencies.
Indeed, it's ambitious and untethered from reality, but... I don't think so. I think they genuinely believed. Okay, let's keep moving.
Oh.
Tiles on the cube are like a smooth draw. The filament slides into place. On the keyboard, the play key starts blinking. A bar of fabric right above the keyboard starts producing a soft hum. The sound of static seeps through the machine's planar magnetic driver. The static gets louder, slowly filling up the abandoned hall, until a voice speaks out, crackling and old, cutting into the air.
Good morning. Fortress accident en rue de Saint-Ghislaine. This is East Insulindian Repeater Station 1. Please repeat. Is this the production schedule? The filament you have inserted into the reader. Yes. Is that the production schedule? If you are unsure, could you please take a look? Open the hatch on the compartment. Don't touch the wires. A current is running through it, but the core is safe. There's a filament inside. I need to know what it's called. Good. Please repeat the password.
Password? Of course it would have a password. That's why there's a human administrator involved.
No.
A hint system is not part of the protocol for repeater stations.
Received. I will register this login attempt.
Don't worry. Passwords have a way of turning up sooner or later.
Fortress accident. Is there anything else I can do for you today? Fortress Accident is the company on whose name the terminal you are currently using has been registered to. One moment. Fortress Accident SCA produces revolutionary interactive call-in radio games. That's what the catalog says.
That's not bad.
Any other questions? Yes, I am alive. I am 74 years old and my name is Yvonne.
Beats passwords. Programming people are all paranoid.
I work as a repeater at the East Insulindian Repeater Station. It's my job to know where you are, Fortress Accident. As for me, well, I am sitting in my cubicle, surrounded by a wall of radios. Now, please tell me if there's anything else I can do for thank you and goodbye.
Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow. Fluorescent play and print keys shine on the keyboard.
एक मिनट, ये कहाँ लेके जा रहा है? दैट्स द नेक्स्ट लोकेशन, बट वहाँ पर बात करने का आ रहा है, तो बात कर ले.
An iron safety curtain curves before your eyes, folded like a bellows. It covers half the room, blocking the way into a colossal industrial chimney. This must be where the entity lives. What an odd thing to do. Nothing happens. Still nothing. Those curtains prove to be surprisingly sturdy. Your fist hurts now. If this is really an entrance to the chimney, then there must be a furnace somewhere as well. Maybe there's another way to get in.
Can you please try to refrain from attacking random things? Thanks. In any case, there's no way we can get in right now. Let's investigate further.
You see a terrifying ice bear with a strange compartment in its belly. The door is covered in frost, and the bear's eyes are glowing red. The bear looks oddly realistic. Is it taxidermy? A gust of freezing cold air rushes to greet you. You hear a low grumble as the bear regulates itself. This is the inside of a refrigerator. The lieutenant takes a peek inside. His hand has found the holster of his gun. The shelves are empty. All you see are crumpled ice cream wrappers with the brand name, Revachol Ice City. A handwritten note has been attached to the door. The fridge is huge. You pocket the note and the little fridge magnets keeping it on the door. A friendly cartoon bear smiles back at you from a glossy cellophane wrapper. It looks nothing like the fridge. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Good question. It looks like an ice cream fridge. I know. What an unfortunate marketing choice. What is even worse, the bear is still costing them money to this day.
The fridge buzzes with energy. The electricity bill on this thing must be catastrophic. A few bricks have fallen off, revealing a compartment behind the wall. It's too dark to see in.
There is, yes. And there also appears to be something inside the hole. Interesting. Do you want to take a look?
Your hand reaches deep into darkness and spiderwebs. Rummaging around, you find rusty rifles hidden away. Most of them are rusty and inoperable, like the rest, but one catches your eye.
That's a rare sight. Seems to no longer be functional, but still a beautiful thing in its own way. It means there are firearms, albeit inoperable, still lying around in Martinez. It's an interesting coincidence, I would say. Might come in useful in the future. Seems like an old bunker from the revolutionary period. Look at all those rifles. Must be an old weapons cache.
The note is written with a blue pencil on a piece of lined office paper. The kitchen magnets have left spots on its surface.
Does it say anything interesting?
This is tangential at best, but the lieutenant's detective instinct is still active. Someone has scribbled, S. I can't believe the off-site copy is still here. The illiterate ginger kid keeps stealing stuff from the studio, so I had to hide it somewhere safe. You'll find the filament memory with the off-site copy in the frozen ice cream maker. Please take it home, ASAP. It's important. I'd do it myself if I lived in a civilized place with a freezer. Take care, Suliswaf.
Looks like someone from that radio game company upstairs. I'm a little surprised they just left their property lying here. That's a plausible hypothesis. Really? You don't have a single guess? Oh, I'm sure that child would love to get his hands on the filament memory. Even if he doesn't know what to do with it, he'd probably try to pawn it for speed, based on our encounter. I don't know. I assume it's somewhere close to the Ice Bear fridge.
The worn map features the patchwork grid of the streets of Martinaise, with directions to appropriately touristy locations. Your finger moves through the various streets, across Rue de Saint-Ghislain and Rue Saint-Sipar, over Saint-Brun and Martinaise North, finally coming to a halt on the spot where you are currently standing. Although the map gives no such indication, it's...
For a more detailed view of the map, go to your journal and select the Map tab.
It's just a racist mug. What's there to read here? Not much. Oh boy, here we go. What are you going to say about a broken, tossed-away mug that you dug out of the garbage? If you want to earn some change by guilting people, go for it. But if you want to earn real dough, finish the case and start getting paid again. Wow, you work hard. Oh yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide. Oh yeah, like a horse, a workhorse, for hard work. Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic, sand, and linoleum after you re-emerged. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride. That's just what it's like, life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco-Negros and the Solas.
अब दिख रहा है तेरा मैसेज.
It ain't easy,
अब दिखा.
but you do it. Day in and
Hello.
day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose.
क्या हाल है भाई?
You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer. Yeah, you're in the sales business. Shake 'em for shit and then pawn it off. Law officer style. Sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth? But you still hustle 24/7, ride or die. Now, ask yourself.
But I will pass. But it will pass. I'll be okay.
Are you rich? That's right. You work harder than anyone. You almost rode yourself to the grave and you're still practically a hobo. Why is that? The Gart man has set himself up one of those self-replicating money structures. You should learn from it. Don't play the victim. Think hustler. Think with your head. Because of the taxes, G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart, so much as sneeze. Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gossamer state that is Revachol? You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus, there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you here. The Gossamer state's a myth. In total, the coalition government is taking 98% of all your money.
I guess I'm a free market fundamentalist. No.
What are you, a racist? Don't be a racist. Be a cool immigrant, ultra-liberal free market advocate. Ride or die. Keep it street. This guy's appropriating the emerging Boogie Street lingo as part of his sales pitch for the free market economy. Here you go, hustler. Fight the righteous fight. Free the people. Keep it real. Keep it street. Keep foaming at the mouth furiously on the tax issue.
अभी मैं एक अबेंडन्ड वो बुक स्टोर के पीछे वाला एरिया एक्सप्लोर मतलब इन्वेस्टिगेट कर रहा हूँ। ये देख पैसा। इतना कुछ है यार लूट करने को।
Two cables are plugged into the breaker box. The red one leads to the ice bear fridge, and the black one to some kind of a buzzing fridge-like thing nearby. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now. This orange machine is buzzing like an old submarine. It has a hand-cranked ice cream churner on top and an electric freezer that appears to be frozen shut. Turning the crank feels oddly satisfying, like stirring your childhood dreams. In the distance, you hear water dripping.
Yeah. I do. अरे डेक्स्टर भाई जांट गेम यार, फिर भी इतना बुरा नहीं है यार। मतलब वॉकिंग डेड खेलना और फिर बोलना अरे यार क्या स्टोरी थी, उससे तो बढ़िया ही लग रहा है। तुम क्या अभी डेट्रॉइट बिकम ह्यूमन उठाए हो ना? आयरन नहीं हो रही है चैट में, बहुत गंदी बंदा डेट्रॉइट बिकम ह्यूमन खेल रहा था।
You slip your fingers under the frozen lid, but the ice is too cold for you to get a good grip. A pry bar would come in handy here.
भैया
No, this is going to need something else. Some kind of super pry bar. Don't even try to open it with a regular pry bar.
I have a pry bar in my kinema, in case you want to try again. Though it might be that my pry bar isn't strong enough for that lid.
वन ऑफ द बेस्ट गेम है ना। शर्म नहीं आ रही है सब बोलते समय? 2 कौड़ी की शर्म नहीं है डेक्स्टर भाई, सीधे बस मुंह उठा के बोल दिया कि बेस्ट गेम।
A thick layer of coal dust covers the furnace, coloring it pitch black. A hollow ring echoes through the furnace. Your toe hurts. It's dark and grimy here. In the darkness you can hear chatter. It's coming from above. A voice or several voices.
हाँ
talking
अभी
to
चेन
each other
कटर्स उठाऊंगा
near the smoke
वो
chamber
विटनेस से बात करने से
upstairs.
पहले।
The echo is so prominent, it's impossible to discern what the voices are
भाई फॉर
saying
रियल वो बाप
or
गेम है।
what's producing
हाँ
them.
मैंने भी पार करी थी डेक्स्टर भाई, बट मेरे को तो चूतिया ही लगा वो गेम।
What are
मुझे
you
नहीं
doing?
अच्छा लगा था साला वो डेट्रॉइट। सब उठा लूं? चल ठीक है, आई पिक अप एवरीथिंग।
Wait, really? Take your head out of the chimney, please. It's not safe.
Something breaks loose in you. A mighty bellow echoes throughout the chimney's depths. The chatter of tiny voices above suddenly cease. Then,
एक्शन नहीं तो मजा नहीं। लगते किसी का अच्छा होता और मेरी तरह किसी को गंदा। वापस कार में जाना, सामान लेकर आना, इससे अच्छा इन्वेंट्री में ही रखो। हाँ यार सही बोलो। आप ऐसी गेम खेल रहे हो जो मुझे विश्वास नहीं हो रहा है।
hear a low rumble upstairs, the sound of a curtain being pulled aside.
After you, officer.
फिल्मोरा में ट्रोजन फाउंड हो रहा है वो वाली फाइल में। यार क्रैक तो हमेशा ऐसे ही होएगा डेक्स्टर भाई, क्रैक की क्या गारंटी लूँ। थैंक्स फॉर गिविंग मी आइडिया, आई वाज स्कैर्ड टू डू इट। अरे जब गेम में कॉम्बैट ही नहीं है तो डर कैसा, जो सही लगे वो करो। द फक। देखो थोड़े और पैसे। अब सेकंड फ्लोर कहाँ से आएगा, आई वंडर। ये अच्छा याद आ गया। दिस आयरन कर्टन, ये देखो भाई एंटिटी मिल गई। दिस ट्रे इज फुल ऑफ डाइस, कलरफुल पॉलीहेड्रल डाइस, हंड्रेड्स ऑफ देम। अबे D&D प्लेयर्स का बेस है बे ये। रिपर्पस टू कंटेन थाउजेंड्स ऑफ डाइस। और क्या है इधर, अत्ता क्या बात। कंप्लीट करने में कितना टाइम लगा था, 120 घंटे भाई, रैंडम। डेक्स्टर भाई डेट्रॉइट में मजे क्यों नहीं आए, क्योंकि साला जब मैं वॉकिंग डेड खेल चुका था ना उसके बाद एक्चुअली डेट्रॉइट में ग्राफिक्स के अलावा कुछ मेरे को साला मिला ही नहीं, और वो इतना स्लो बढ़ता है आगे गेम, और मेरे को एंडिंग भी चूतिया सी मिली थी तब। फक दैट गेम। इवन हेवी रेन भाई वो भी मेरे को चूतिया एंडिंग ही मिली। द डेज वर ऑल्सो D&D प्लेयर्स, उसके बाद ये गेम का आइडिया आया था। नहीं हाँ, ये लोग ओरिजिनली D&D प्लेयर्स ही थे, इनका क्लब था। ये स्कूल से ड्रॉप आउट कर गया था ये रॉबर्ट कर्विट्स, और D&D रोल प्लेइंग टेबल टॉप गेम्स बनाता रहता था ये अपने फ्री टाइम में। ओवरऑल जब ये थोड़ा बड़ा हुआ इसने एक बुक लिखी थी, सेक्रेड एंड टेरेबल एयर करके, पवित्र और घटिया हवा, सेक्रेड एंड टेरेबल एयर। वो बुक बहुत सारे ऑथर्स ने पढ़ी और उसको बहुत पॉजिटिवली रिव्यू करा, बट ओवरऑल उस बुक का रिसेप्शन कुछ खास नहीं गया। उसकी वजह से रॉबर्ट कर्विट्स एक अल्कोहलिक बन गया था काफ़ी समय के लिए, और फिर काफ़ी समय बाद बंदा अपने रूट्स पे गया, अपने D&D पेन एंड पेपर टेबल टॉप एडवेंचर्स पे, और अपनी बुक को गेमिफाई कर दिया उसने। सेम ये सेम बुक, सेक्रेड एंड टेरेबल एयर। तुम अगर इस गेम के स्टोरी एलिजियम वर्ल्ड के अराउंड रिसर्च करना चाहते ही हो, यू कैन चेक दैट बुक आउट। बट साला गांड में कूदा लगता है भाई कि मतलब स्कूल ड्रॉप करके D&D एडवेंचर्स लिख रहे हो आप। हाँ ईस्टर एग ही होगा यार, राइट।
Hello, I'm Nia.
नेहा
Did you try
India
knocking
में
on my
D&D?
window? I must have missed you. I've been listening to my Melius. So what kind of die are you looking for?
She's got a direct view to the backyard. You should interrogate her about the lynching.
Then how did you get inside? By the south entrance? You know what? It doesn't even matter. What matters is that you're finally here. Let's talk dice. Did you have something specific in mind? Yes, Amelia is like a call-in station. You need a two-way radio to access one. That's why I have these. Mostly, they just teach you to swear in
सब
different
बढ़िया
languages.
आता, सब बढ़िया।
But some of the stations can be quite interesting. I was so absorbed, I must have missed you knocking. I'm a novelty dice maker. Tell me the name of your role-playing system and I'll make the die you need. That's why you're here, yes?
Role-playing games? You know the one made by Fortress Accident. Does that count?
Fortress Accident.
Very good. My rate is 10 real per set, unless you want something really unusual. Take a look around and see if there's any particular stone you want to use.
It almost looks as if the stones and dice are a natural part
नहीं
of
अभी
the
नहीं गया fishing के लिए.
growing out of the shells like stalagmites. No falsehoods are present. She's a novelty dice maker and doesn't have anything to hide. Ask what you need.
Nothing really. I didn't know him.
The lieutenant looks at his notebook, then the woman under the large window.
Your window looks directly onto the courtyard. You're saying you didn't see or hear anything unusual last Sunday evening?
Some
I'm
of them,
sorry,
yeah.
detective, but as you know, I usually have my headphones on when I'm working. It shuts out most of the daily ruckus behind my window. I might have, but in this case, all I would have seen is my own reflection staring back from the darkness.
It's light here, but dark in the yard at night.
It's really hard to make anything out in the yard when it's dark outside. Besides, I rarely get up to look out the window when I'm in the zone.
She nods.
Anything else, officer? We're inside the chimney of an old central furnace. It's strange, I know. But when I arrived here, all the other rooms were taken, so I had to build myself a makeshift home. Besides, I don't really have to pay any rent here, so that's a plus.
Creative.
When she arrived here, there was no room anywhere else. She must have known the other businesses.
I've heard the stories, but I don't think those stories are true. It's just capitalism. We only hear about tales of success, so it's often surprising
got the
to
body down?
realize
Not yet.
how many ventures actually fail. Plaisance, the bookshop lady? I've heard that her business is doing rather well. Have the energies spared her somehow? Oh, right. But it's not just the bookstore that's still up and running. What about the whirling in racks? Some people say it's part of the building complex. And then there is me. I've been here for 14 years, selling novelty dice to role-playing enthusiasts. Not exactly a million-real business idea, yet somehow I've survived despite the talk of malicious energies. Strange, isn't it?
Maybe it's just because she's so talented that she's been able to woo the curse.
I was just about to ask, what do you think? Do you think the curse is real?
So I'm the grand dragon in the cave. Might I ask what supports this claim? Ethereal? Thank you, but I think it's just the lighting. If you ever find a way to explain all those inconsistencies in the curse, then let me know.
That's all she has to say on the subject. She has been thorough and truthful, as far as we can see. Plaisance needs to hear about this. Perhaps if you combine your psychic energies, you will make sense of the situation.
More or less. Are you interested in anyone specific?
Oh, quite a lot of them spring to mind.
आइसक्रीम वालों का पूछ ही नहीं रहा है.
Fortress Accident, the radio game studio. They were an interesting bunch. We talked about role-playing systems every now and then. Once, I even saw two of them get into fisticuffs over Wiro.
That's understandable. Fantasies are serious things. The mind is the drawing board of history.
They certainly took their work very seriously, even if they seemed to be chronically liberal with their schedules. The usual, they ran out of money and couldn't get the project done on time. Well, I did hear them talking at times. They seemed to believe they were historical individuals on some grand quest.
She sounds almost mocking when she says that.
Yes, but when the money started to run out, they just began to complain a lot about capitalism. You know, how the markets are rigged to keep out new businesses and so on. In the end, they just didn't get it done. They didn't have enough willpower to produce something truly historic, and to show up to work on time.
Showing up to work on time is hard. No, scratch that. Showing up to work at all is difficult, especially if you've been drinking.
Not the wisest decision. You would have lost all your savings.
The result is 1 on a 20-sided die.
Anything else? Oh boy, the fabled Revachol ICT. You're in for a treat here. The place was owned by two guys who had some rather innovative ideas about marketing. The bear was one of them. Now ask me about their other ideas.
Indeed. What were the other ideas?
There was really just one, and it involved picking out the prettiest girls in the neighborhood and paying them 20 cents per hour to man the booth. And by man the booth, I mean slump behind the counter with a face that could maim you if you ever dared to disturb their bored magazine browsing.
Fritte does the same thing.
Employing silky teenage girls is a widespread practice, yes. Unfortunately, they always come in packs. I'm talking about acne-ridden girlfriends and gorilla-like boyfriends loitering near the shop. At least that's what happened with Revachol ICT. And they already had the bear. The bear. Of course not. The bear was terrifying. No one wants ice cream guarded by a hostile apex predator. To make matters worse, the fridge didn't work too well either, and half the ice cream came out malformed and partially melted. Eventually, Ravishaw Ice City lost the price war to its rival, Glace 5000. Glace 5000 sold caramel sundaes for only 5 cents a piece, out of regular fridges. You did what? Ugh, of course they left it plugged in. Even in death, the bear is costing them money. The taxidermist who made it said it was his vision beast. He said he met his vision beast while high on desiccants. He called it Megatherion.
Sounds cool.
Megatherion, a mega wild beast. It's an imaginary beast that guides you through life by telling you to do more drugs, mostly.
A wise and noble beast, guiding you toward the land where the streets are paved with drugs.
Understandable. You shouldn't do them. You're a police officer after all. Anyway, now you know the story of the fallen ice cream empire.
Little sparkling embers under the window.
Anything else? Another failed business, perhaps? I've been here for a long time. Good. I hope it clarified things a bit. What else?
The bear's eyes are dead and empty. Ice inside the fridge slowly melting. The power has been cut off. A friendly cartoon bit. The paper still smells of vanilla and chocolate.
Good question. I know. At least it's...
The fridge sits empty. Only the black cable is plugged in somewhere in the dark. The bear's eyes are still glowing red, watching over all the ice cream wrappers hidden inside its belly. This orange machine is... Two cables are plugged into the brick. Something close to you died.
Why did you do that?
The lieutenant raises his brows, but doesn't say anything. An electric sizzle. The room is slightly quieter now. Tiles on the cube are still smoldering, casting the framework in a soft glow.
sorry, sir. I can't talk right now. I'm very busy with my homework. I have...
Out of the rain and into the gutter.
Math. It's really difficult. Like, really. They say you need it to get rich. Better than standing outside in the cold, I guess. Oh, I found something while you were away. I thought this would fit you. Like, thanks for helping out. Not me. The city, I mean. Like a detective does. Just what Dick Mullen would ask. I got it from behind the curtains. I'm not really supposed to go there. Yes, I bet it looks good on you. Really serious. Right, I have to get back to my homework now.
You're alive and well. Don't keep me waiting now. What's in there? In that dark sarcophagus? Yes? How was it?
Tell her how ghastly it was. You know it's what she wants to hear.
I knew it. Oh, such horrors that have been thrust upon us. But what else did you find? Did anything survive? No, of course not. Have you located the entity? A novelty dice maker? Well, spit it out. Why does she need the dice? For some kind of sorcery? Sometimes they use the ankle bones of sheep. I don't understand. If you're not sure it's her, then where is the source of the doom? How did she explain the curse?
The narrative she's built herself, it does need tearing down. She's squeezing on the pendant too tight. A drop of blood in her palm. To hell with it. Perchance you ought to just lie, sire.
Too many inconsistencies. What kind of talk is that?
Good luck persuading her. Some people can rationalize anything.
I am not doing as well as it looks like I am. I only have my Simone's wards to thank for the protection they provide. Yes, because her business consists of the psychic leech that's been feeding the curse. I see that you've fallen for her manipulation, Detective. The investigation is over. I just hope worse by going in there. Thank you for nothing. Please, do buy some books, or be on your way.
Wow. Total psychic collapse between you two right now. There was never any other way this could have gone. She's just too far gone into her own mind.
I am sorry we had to disappoint you, ma'am. Can we go now?
Okay, but please, only a few questions. You wouldn't want to disturb the spirits. Yes, the Simones are very crafty, and their wards are extremely powerful. Lesser wards simply won't do here.
The woman looks aloof, her features much softer. Occasionally she glances at her daughter's silhouette. old call box with a matrix. East Delta Commerce Center. This must be the name of the doom. Silence. No one answers the doorbell. All you hear is static, but no one answers the call. This button looks new, but someone has removed the name card.
This button looks new. I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't been connected yet. Is it the dice makers?
This button
This button looks new. I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't been connected yet. Is it...
Silence. No one's home at Fortress Accident.
Does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't fucking...
I'll die before I squeal, pig. Murder was the case they gave me.
Droplets of rain fall on the white on blue police livery of the motor carriage. Do something important? Something murder-related? There's always something important. Doesn't mean you can't take a moment to admire this piece of machine. This is a Caprice Kanema, the Caprice Motor Corps follow-up to their highly successful with its air-cooled, rear-mounted 12-cylinder compression ignition engine, driving the rear wheels through a 4-speed manual gearbox. The Kanema is able to reach 100 kilometers per hour in 13.5 seconds and go on to a top speed of 180 kilometers an hour. Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox, and a metallic drawer slides out from under the seat. The handles are long and sleek. You can do good work. The pry bar feels nice and cold in your hand. Heavy, useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids. The pull-out toolbox slides.
टाइटस से क्या बात हुई कि कहाँ थे तुम लोग? तुम्हारी टीम में 8 जन होने चाहिए, 8वां कहाँ है? तो पता चला 8वां कोई लड़की थी। ढूंढूंगा उसको इवेंचुअली।
A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her sailing boat, smiling as you approach. Her green raincoat glistens with droplets.
Good morning, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. Beaton, my maiden name. Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
I'm glad to see you here.
Info दिया.
नहीं, टाइटस तो साला पूरा ही हॉस्टाइल है कि लड़ लूंगा, सर पे गोली मार दूंगा.
There is
जैसे
strength
पलटोगे चूतिया हो.
If she wanted, she could sink her nails deep into your skin.
मैं उसको कन्विक्ट करने से पहले सामान ढूंढ रहा हूँ कि मैं एकदम पिन पॉइंट कर पाऊँ.
I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist the RCM in this matter, I will.
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual medical episode. Very unusual. But I can assure you of his ultimate competency.
There's a trace of irony in his voice. Mischief, even. This is a tactic. It happens quicker than a shooting star. But did the lieutenant just wink at you?
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. That's the man who was killed. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. Better not tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else. Quite a few things, I'm afraid.
नहीं, पहली बार मिल रहा हूँ.
The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. I am Lieutenant Kitsuragi from Precinct 57. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment. I hope mine will suffice.
How curious. Why is that, Detective? I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear. Some kind of encephalopathic amnesia. I don't even know how to respond. I do believe you, naive as that may sound. I simply can't imagine what you gain by faking such a condition.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional, but he is an officer of the RCM.
Of course, I sympathize. But the more we can speak about this lynching business, the better for all of us. Of course, Detective. Take care.
All right, time for witness statements. भैया अभी भी सुबह सो रहा है, 12 बज गई है, सो रहा है साला.
This door has been closed with a padlock. A chalk-drawn number on the board says, number 11. What are you doing? You're trying to cut the body of the lock with the chain cutters, and it's really not working.
I believe it's the shackle you need to cut, Detective. Perhaps you should give it another go.
The shackle snaps like a...
After you, detective.
चल अंदर.
A plaster cast bust depicts a middle-aged man with impressive sideburns. The name on the plinth reads Kraz Mazov. Kraz Mazov, nom de guerre, was an economist and a theoretical historian. He was a leading figure in the Grad side of the turn-of-the-century revolution, where he headed the 9-day government. Mazov is considered the father of scientific
भोसड़ी के
communism,
कार्ल मार्क्स को
Mazovian
क्रास
thought,
मजोव कर
or
दिया.
Mazovianism.
मार्क्सिज्म.
I suspect that's exactly what they are trying to do. There aren't many communists around, not after the revolution. Some youth still keep the ideology going, it seems.
बुलेट.
You hear someone walking around inside, rearranging the furniture. The number on the panel says 10. The walking stops abruptly, but no one comes to a poor communard from the looks of it. The room is barely bigger than a closet.
Do I have to open the door? Do you have a warrant? I'm not obligated to open the door if you don't have a warrant.
Let's go. We don't have a reason to get inside that apartment.
It's generally easier to do things if you have literally any reason. This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Number 28. This is where the cleaning lady said the smoker on the balcony lives.
Let's see if anyone's home.
No one answers.
Looks like the young man we are looking for isn't home. I think our best chance to catch him is in the evening. We should return tonight after we have finished with our day's work. How about 9 p.m.? Tonight at 9 p.m. Right here, apartment number 28. Good.
लगता है फिशिंग विलेज ही जाना पड़ेगा.
Tarpaulin cloak with possible RCM markings is still caught on the railing.
अरे यार.
Nope, no. That's still too high. What?
Sure. Just be careful, okay? Looks like you almost strained a muscle there.
All right, fishing village. ये रहा फिशर एंड शैक्स. यहाँ पे हो रहा है. चल हम मेजर के पास चलते हैं.
unpromising race pupil returns. The unpromising race pupil returns. And everyone can see that. It has little to do with the race enigma.
Baby, don't be mean. Give him another chance.
Anything for you, babe. Look, babe. The rich man has humiliated and emasculated this couple. He can only think in base materialist categories and feminine abstractions like money.
Rich man really fucked him over, Jean.
His rage is already played out on the stage of history as the grotesque tragedy of revolution. All it can accomplish now is impotent academic text and neurosyphilitic rock and roll melancholia. Impotent class warrior. I take pity on you. You clearly want to enter the harbor bad, like a little boy who wants to go on the potty. I can press the button for you. It will open the door. Very well. You may enter the door once. Our race conversation here has concluded.
Finally. Let's go.
The unpromising race pupil returns. I am not the first line of defense. I am the last. In addition, these so-called hardy boys are an effeminate clique of bodybuilders. Their company is spiritually degrading. You pick up on something artificial in his tone, like he's putting on an act. This is unlike him. He is usually more himself. Fine. They have recently fallen under the influence of a possibly sexually perverted female vagrant and a narcotics peddler. It's shameful. Find out for yourself. Endomorphic blob.
Interesting.
Is this about the questions again? Because I don't really know anything. A warehouse? I don't know. Maybe. I don't really care what Frit does.
She looks up from under her brow.
Fine. Frit doesn't have a warehouse. Just a little back room here. Okay?
You see several packaged raincoats fill a low shelf beneath a display of croissants and juice bottles. The packages are small, discreet, sloppily stacked, making them easier to take unnoticed. No.
What is what? It's a raincoat. If you want to buy one, then it's only 4 real.
Her attention is drawn to the raincoats. Stealing one undetected will now be more difficult.
Here you go.
On second glance, someone has forgotten to properly close one of the drawers.
It's unfortunate for the...
The drawer opens smoothly. Inside is a well-organized selection of brown folders. Hundreds of documents containing logistical data. 2 kinds of transactions stand out. Materials coming into Revachol from the outside world, from Muindi, Grad, and even Ilmara, and the same materials being handed over to companies inside Revachol. Kuron, Coal City, La Delta, and Jamrock are listed among the many districts where the imports are being sold. It's hard to make sense of this thicket of company names, dates, quantities, and percentages. You try to focus, but the lines are getting blurry. Look how blurry all the lines on these papers are. Hermeneutics was almost within your grasp, but now only vague letters float before your eyes. Less meaningful, but...
Is that what you're doing with those folders over there? Good. This is probably not relevant to our case anyway.
The drawer slides shut. The tarpaulin cloak is still hanging on the railing. The white rectangle of the Revachol Citizens Militia is clearly visible on its back. As your fingers touch the tarpaulin, it almost feels like the cloak wants to deliver a message of comfort through your fingertips. The front of this quarterly journal features a large satirical portrait of the late King Friesel. From the sides of his head, a pair of white antlers spread to the corners of the cover. To your disappointment, there aren't any full-color pictures to direct your attention. Just column after column of closely set text, interrupted occasionally by little doodles in black and white. After rifling the pages with your thumb several times, you return to the table of contents. The magazine is divided into several sections. International development, Kunst und Kultur, and local concerns. Just inside the cover, there's also an editor's note. Unsurprisingly, much of this section is taken up with articles declaring unqualified support for the dock workers' strike. You skim the headlines. Paint the harbor red and white. Martinez tames the wild pines. A city in revolt. First, we take Martinez. Then we take La Delta. Finally, there's a brief article by the writer, G. Martin, accusing the owner of the Capeside Apartments of illegally attempting to evict certain communist tenants simply for not having paid their rent. The eternal problem, according to G. Martin, is that under capitalism, the worker is rendered incapable of perceiving their own agency or lack thereof. Thus, they tend to experience their own oppression as though it were happening to somebody else. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. This section includes a long, tedious critique of the latest round of free trade negotiations between the EPIS nations and the Free State of Seminine. You also skip over an article about heavy fuel oil smuggling along the Messina border, something about bear wrestling in Samara, book riots in Yugograd. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Bear wrestling. Flip back to that. Apparently, the material conditions of other countries hold no interest for you. Your brand of communism is strictly local. So be it. You flip back to the front of the magazine. The table of contents unfolds before you. Wow, so someone's been a little boring. Yes, my standard liege. Someone's seen all sorts of wild ideas pop off and thought, I'll take the boring one. The regular, please. The brown. Of course you do. Let's get right to it. My lord's copper type is regular cop. I'll let everyone know. I'll send out a telefax. Done and done. No actual communiques will be sent, of course. That would be too dramatic. This is the night watchman's booth. The name on the door reads, "Listen, it's okay to take a few minutes to yourself. Sit down."
If you must. But please hurry. We are pretty easy to spot up here.
Nothing incriminating catches your eye. It's a black and white photo of a young couple out in a street fair. The man is young, dark-skinned, and dressed in a Royal Carabinieri uniform. The girl is smiling playfully at the camera.
Why did you take that? Fine. But let's move. I don't want to be seen snooping around here.
The chair is not as austere as the rest of the booth. A thin grey pillow is attached to the seat, secured to the stiles by black ribbons. Stale air floods through your nostrils. Not a single mote of dust floats inside your lungs though. The drawers are empty, save for old timesheets and receipts. Once, oh boy, where to start? Elevated risk of dementia, mini strokes, prophet's disease, sudden death, hair death, erectile malfunction, critical flatulence, watery blood, black mucus, uncontrollable weeping, increased sensitivity to La Opera, inoperable joint disorder, total spinal collapse. Don't think about that. Quick, think about something else. The enormity of the case before you dwarfs the list of side effects. You can't even see the side effects anymore. They're nothing to you. You take the painkillers. They are yours now. You stand and exit the booth. An imposing combination of a punch clock and a payphone is a rusting control panel. Marsh. On with a loud grind. The crane shifts overhead, moving a massive metal container through the air. With a surprisingly quiet thunk, the crane places the container down. The harbor sleeps as the strike rages in the distance. The crane can rest again, now that its purpose has been fulfilled. The rusty control panel grows warm to the touch, then grows cold. It is finished. A faint smell of burning rubber reaches your nostrils. A short circuit.
I can't see how that was worth the wreckers. Except for seeing the crane in action, which I admit was satisfying.
Before you stands a cargo container. Just...
Is this like your thing with that word? You do? Because I don't. There are a million containers here. Why are you fixating on this one? There may very well be, but we are not here to interact with containers. We are here.
You attempt to turn the handle, to no avail. The doors seem to be mechanically locked. To your left, the lieutenant considers your actions with some puzzlement. No reply. The knock produces a hollow ring of metal. Doesn't sound like there's anything inside the container. Before you is a walrus of a man, seated behind a large desk. He looks up from his work, not the least bit surprised to see you. With great effort, he straightens himself up in his chair, yet says nothing. He simply stares at you, with a mixture of expectation and impatience, well bottled.
Welcome, Mr. Dubois, Mr. Kitsuragi.
Dubois?
It's good of you two to stop by. Please, have a seat. I'm Everard Clare, head of the Debarders Union here in Martinez.
Harry Dubois.
I'd offer you my hand, but unfortunately my health prevents me from getting up. You understand?
He looks extremely comfortable. The tiny folding chair, on the other hand, looks like a torture device.
You go ahead, detective.
Whatever he has in store for you, it can't be good, he thinks. I'll do my best. Forget about that. What's with this Dubois stuff? You're getting some seriously bad vibes from that name.
Please, Mr. Dubois, let us converse in a civilized manner, as equals. Take a seat. I insist.
It's nothing. Yes, that's probably right.
Excellent, Mr. Dubois. I can see that you're a reasonable man, and reasonable men can be of great use to one another. So tell me, how can the head of the Debarders Union help a representative of the Revachol Citizens Militia today?
The chair you're sitting on has got to be the most uncomfortable chair in the world. It's violating your backside.
Oh, by the way, I heard you got a rather rude reception from a certain Lawrence Gart. Some people have no manners, it pains me to say. This should take care of that nonsense. It should be sufficient to cover your expenses for a few days and patch over your differences with a cafeteria manager. Go ahead, take it.
Wow, that's 25 real. That's good money. You need it.
Okay. I respect a man with principles. No handouts, then. Now, I'd like to set your mind at ease about one other matter. Your lost gun. Let me assure you, Union people are on it as we speak. I've got my best hounds looking for that lost gun.
His slug-like lips move, but all you hear is an echo. Lost gun, lost gun, lost gun. Despair creeps into you, getting fat on your weakness. Whatever noble intentions you once had as a police officer, it's eaten them all up now. You're still coming up with sentences. That's a step up from total annihilation, right? He watches you melt down stoically from behind the lenses. Nothing you can say would make you feel any better now. Cop gives up the detective's genre for
बहन का लौड़ा. बाद में कंटिन्यू करता हूँ भाई इसको. डिस्को एलिजियम एवरीवन. टाटा बाय बाय, टेक केयर एंड एज ऑलवेज स्टे लेजेंड.